Hello. You might have noticed that one of the rewards I'm offering for supporters of 10 Little Astronauts are these rather splendid necklaces, but since there's not much room on the book page to talk about them, you might not know why. The simple answer is Unbound recommended offering something quirky and interesting, and I was like, I can do that. But the long answer is, besides books, this is what I do. When I first started weaving chainmail, I was making armour, like this bit Yorick's wearing now. I got into it partly because I write a lot of fantasy, and I thought it was important to understand the history, even though a lot of the time I'm aiming for Shrek rather than Wolf Hall. The thing about armour, though, is that it's really boring. Jewellery, on the other hand, has a vast range of weaves to try out and a wide variety of materials to make them from. A lot of what I use would be more at home on a space station or satellite than on a night on horseback. These necklaces in particular are made of anodised aluminium. It's the same material as the hull of the International Space Station, and you'll also find it in virtually all aircraft everywhere, even going back to the Wright brothers' first biplane in 1903. The reason for that is it's incredibly light. That's also handy for these designs. This bracelet is silver-plated copper with obsidian beads. It weighs 14 grams. This whole necklace is anodised aluminium, weighs 17 grams, so they're about the same. That's why this material is the one to use if you're going to launch it into space. It's also a good option for jewellery because it doesn't tarnish. The process of anodising aluminium specifically puts on a thick oxide layer, so it's essentially tarnished already. This is what it'll look like forever. The coloured links, the red, green and blue, are anodised as well, but the oxide's been dyed too. I use a lot of this stuff because you get a huge range of colours and effects, and it's quite hard wearing, especially in comparison to metal platings. These necklaces are a little unusual in that not all the links are joined together. The weave is called captive inverted round, and it's essentially this weave, round mail, flipped inside out into a kind of tube with captive links inside to give it its shape. Those links also stop it from forming a tight V shape like this one, so when you wear it, it sits in a nice curve. The downside is that it's really fiddly to weave. It's even more fiddly to get started, so here's one I made earlier. At the moment this is reasonably solid because all the blue links are fairly well wedged in there, but once I add this one it's going to get interesting. I start off by folding this final section of chain back so that I can slot the new link in. When I fold those links back, the new one should be just about held in place, but if I let go now, this one would just fall right out again. To keep it in there, I finish off the next section of chain and add a couple of links to start a new one, which should stop the previous section from folding back and releasing the ring. I'm now back to where I started, and all I have to do to finish the necklace is do that about 100 times more. These things usually take somewhere in the region of 400 links. Each one takes several days to make. Since I'm making these to order, I can do them in pretty much any colour or combination of colours you'd like. The favourite so far seems to be blue links and a silver chain. This design won first place at the Littleton and Hairstock show in 2015, but I've also had good results from red and green, and I did have a very sophisticated looking black one, but I sold it 3 days or so before filming this, so unfortunately there wasn't time to make another.